The vibe of this week is say what you got to say and power moves. Hello, welcome to your weekly astrology forecast for the week of March 3rd through the 9th. I am your astrologer, Laura Chung. I'm a Western tropical astrologer. I use the whole sign house system. Thank you so much for being here. Just a recap of last week, the major transits of last week. We had the new moon in Pisces on February 27th, and then Venus went retrograde on March 1st. Now, this Venus retrograde, we are collectively all experiencing this in the Aries and Pisces houses of our chart. And each house, it signifies a different area of our life and the people in our life. Venus is the planet of relationships, of love and beauty, of our value and our worth. And yes, it can also bring up money because that's what we value in our society. So, just Venus and Aries keywords, passionate and quick romance. You might hear about some sex scandals, protests. Venus and Aries has this energy of activism, especially if they're related to femme issues, avant garde art. Just think Lady Gaga. She has a natal Venus and Aries. And so, yeah, Venus is going through the underworld. And depending on if you are ruled by Venus, so anybody who is a Libra or Taurus rising, or if Venus is your time lord, this will impact you even more as Venus is the ruler of Libra and Taurus, and if Venus is your time lord, then these topics will become more profound for you. Now, like I mentioned in the beginning, the vibe of this week is very much you got to say what you got to say, okay? Because I am filming this on March 3rd when Mercury goes into the sign of Aries. I'm sorry that this came out late. There was a 20-hour void of course moon yesterday, and I just was not feeling it. And going into today, March 3rd, there was an exalted Taurus moon. So I was just like, I was just not feeling it. I had clients all day and I was just like, oh my God. But here I am, Mercury in Aries. Mercury's conjunct my sun. So I'm like, you got to power up for this. So Mercury in Aries, if you are a Mercury in Aries person, or if you know somebody with Mercury in Aries, you know that they just say what's on their mind, right? They're blunt, they're cutthroat, they just say it how it is. They often speak with this like conviction and authority, and it cuts through. You know, sometimes if you're not ready for that kind of thing, you might get offended. You might be like, why are you being mean? But the Aries, Mercury and Aries person might be like, I'm just being honest, you know? So that all happens in March 3rd. And also, this is in the Mercury pre shadow. Remember that. So, whatever you do say might come back to bite you in the ass, literally, when Mercury goes retrograde. So, on March 5th, Mercury in Aries will sextile Pluto in Aquarius at 3 degrees. Now, Pluto is moving another degree. Like, Pluto has never been at 3 degrees in our lifetime. So, this is like new territory. So, it is interesting that Mercury, who is Hermes in Greek mythology, is connecting in a harmonious aspect to Pluto, which in Greek mythology is Hades. They had a very interesting relationship because Mercury was the only god permitted to enter the underworld because Mercury was ushering the souls to the underworld. And because this is a Venus retrograde and Venus is going in the underworld, there's a lot of underworld energy. What do I mean by underworld? The shadow realm, the things that trigger you, the things that are repressed that you cannot see, like Carl Jung's work, you know, the shadow realm. So on this day, you might hear news that you were not privy to, secrets, again, sex scandals. I'm just thinking of the fact that Venus is also retrograde during this time. Or this is a good aspect to do research. Mercury sextile Pluto is such a good aspect to do some undercover work, some sleuthing, some investigation work, or it's a great day to be focused and read or write. But the topic might be more, you know, stuff that you don't necessarily talk about, like money, sex, and drugs or something like that. Just Plutonian things, okay? But again, Mercury is the planet of communication. Pluto is the planet of death, rebirth, transformation. Something might come up for you, or you hear, in the what is it, the Matrix or whatever, and you're like, that is actually the information I needed for myself to move on. So on March 6th, there will be a first quarter moon in Gemini. We had a new moon in Pisces on February 27th. We are going to have a lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 14th. Now, a lunar eclipse is a full moon. Remember back to September 1st, 2016, that was a solar eclipse. That was the last eclipse. Solar eclipse, new moon in Virgo. And this Virgo full moon, lunar eclipse on March 14th is essentially ending that chapter. It's closing out that chapter. So in between the new moon, full moon, though, we have a first quarter moon, which is a crisis point. So whatever intentions you might have set on that Pisces new moon, now it's like, okay, I have to make a decision. Gemini is the sign of choice. But you're at a crossroads, right? Something has got to give, whether it is something deeply emotional or a relationship that no longer serves you, a job that's just like not it for you anymore. And, so many people have asked me, like, what is my purpose, right? And as an astrologer, of course, I look at the ruler of your ascendant. Where is your ruler of your chart ruler? What sign it's in, what it's doing. I look at your midheaven. I look at your nodes. But ultimately, that journey of purpose is the journey to go within. It's really to ask yourself, like, what are the things that you desire? What are the things you love to do? What are you passionate about? Who are you at your core before other people told you who you needed to be? Who are you at your core before you needed external validation to validate your experiences? So this is all retrograde energy. It's all about looking within. So March 8th, the sun in Pisces will trine Mars in Cancer at 17 degrees. And if you have anything at 17 degrees, you know how frustrating it's been with Mars just kind of sitting there. And the sun in Pisces, so Pisces season is all about surrendering to the unknown. It's all about art and music and dreaming and imagination and floating in the consciousness of other realms. It's really about what you don't see versus what you see. Pisces is just this dreamy, fairy-like, mermaidy quality packed with Mars, paired with Mars in our harmonious trine is like, okay, what are we going to do now? How can I take action on these dreams? Mars is the planet of action. Cancer is, in medical astrology, it rules over your gut, which is your second brain, which is essentially like you got to trust your gut. So the sun in Pisces trying to Mars and Cancer for me is an aspect of like, I'm going to trust my intuition. I'm going to trust in more in what I don't see, but I feel in my body that this is what I need to do. And I would say this week is really a preparation before we get into eclipse season and before we have two retrogrades going on at the same time. And before like the divine kind of takes in, it's almost like that saying, Jesus take the wheel, or like the Wheel of Fortune card in the tarot. It's like when the divine kind of like takes over and says, okay, you set those intentions and this is what you wanted. So now we're going to clear the way with this lunar eclipse, right? We're going to clear the path for you in order for you to sit with the fact that like you are not in alignment with where you want to be. And you have to sit with you have to sit with what is and trust in the unknown, that all the answers are within you, but are you even listening to yourself if you're so busy, you know? And trust me, I get it. Like, we all live in capitalism. We all have to work to exist. We all have to work to make money. And sometimes I ask myself, which I ask other people too, if there was no such thing as capitalism, would I still be doing this? Would I still be doing what I'm doing? And yes, I would, because I love astrology and I love what I do, but I probably wouldn't be working at the pace that I'm working. Yeah. I mean, it is just honest truth. Like, I probably wouldn't be working at the pace that I'm working right now. But I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed that I get to do this and that I get to help people and that I love doing it and I get paid for it. Amazing. So again, this week is really about just saying the damn thing, for taking bold moves. You can create a vision board. This is like, we're still in Pisces season. Vision board your future self, script what it is that you want to call in, be in the imagination space. I've been recommending to a lot of people to watch movies that have like a Piscean nature. So, The Never Ending Story, Labyrinth, Interstellar, even Harry Potter, just things that like allow you to like dream and foster your imagination, right? Because we have to trust that there is a third thing, like an option that we don't see yet. We see what's right in front of us and we've seen where we've been. But then there's this third thing that we don't know yet, because it's like being formed on the side. I think of Saturn and Pisces, it's being formed by our dreams and our imagination. And so we have to trust that that's forming as we are doing our day to day, like things that we have to do, like pay the bills. We have to, take care of our family, take care of our relationships, take care of our health. But then there's this third thing, this third magical thing that we just don't see yet. So, as always, I'm sending you all love, peace, health, wealth, and prosperity your way. And I will see you next week. Bye.